World News Overview. Let's have a look at our first world news overview from the New York Times. We're going to talk about Guantanamo. Of course, Guantanamo itself is actually a beautiful place, but it's, is it not Guantanamo Bay, I've heard?
I don't know. I just know about the prison.
No,
I don't
the
think
prison
that's
is not
beautiful.
a...
Okay.
Well, right.
Okay.
I mean, not the prison, but I mean just the area, the natural scenery and everything.
Probably. It's a Caribbean island.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard
yeah.
it was maybe deliberately done that way to torture the people there. It's like you can see the beauty and everything, but you can never get it. You're just stuck here for
Okay,
life.
I've never heard that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look.
UN body condemns torture of Guantanamo prisoner awaiting capital trial. A United Nations Human Rights Panel has issued a damning report that blames the United States and 7 other nations for the CIA's torture and cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment of a Saudi prisoner who now awaits a death penalty trial at Guantanamo Bay.
네, 이제 관타나모 수용소 얘기가 나오고 있는데요. 유엔에서 이제 이런 관타나모 수용소에서 그 인권 문제를 이제 얘기를 하면서 비판하는 보고서를 발간했습니다. Let's have a look at this expression here. The UN has issued a report, but it's no ordinary report. It's a damning report.
So this means it was highly, highly critical. And it also showed showed their guilt or proved their guilt or their wrongdoing. A lot of times you'll read, if you're reading about a trial, a damning piece of evidence that really, really proved the prosecution's case, for example.
만약에 이제 evidence, 증거가 damning하다라 그러면은 이 증거로 인해서 그 다음에는 뭐 어떠한 항변도 할 수 없을 정도로 너무나 명백하게 이 사람이 범인이다라고 할 때 it's damning evidence라고 할 수 있는데 자, 여기서는 damning report는요 신랄한 그런 이제 비판의 내용이 들어있는 very critical 한 그런 보고서가 되겠습니다. 인권 문제에 대해서 이제 수감자들을 고문한다든지 잔인하게 다룬다든지 이런 문제를 언급하고 있는 거죠. It's a report that blames the US and other nations for torture and inhumane treatment of the people there, the cruel treatment and such. So we're going to look at these expressions here. Cruel, inhuman, and degrading.
Inhuman, that is extremely cruel. So it's a little bit redundant to say cruel and then inhuman. Inhuman is, you can think of it as it's as if someone who would do that is not a human because what they've done is so cruel and it shows a lack of compassion and a lack of feelings that pretty much all humans should have.
Exactly. 비인간적이다라는 뜻으로 inhuman 한 단어를 썼습니다. And also degrading treatment.
Degrading is when you cause someone to feel worthless because you humiliate them, embarrass them, and disrespect them. So they just, makes them just feel horrible, feel worthless.
그렇죠. 사람을 굉장히 작게 만든다라는 의미가 원래는 들어 있습니다. grade라는 게 이제 뭐 레벨 같은 건데 degrade니까요. 작게 만든다. 즉 여기서는 뭐 품위를 손상시키는 정도로도 의역할 수 있을 것 같고 in particular, it's about a Saudi prisoner who now awaits a death penalty trial, that is. All right, let's continue reading.
The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, also named as responsible the United Arab Emirates, where the prisoner Abd al-Rahman al-Nashri was captured in 2002, as well as countries where he was held as part of an interrogation program run by the George W. Bush administration. The group called for the immediate release of and compensation for Nashri, who is accused of orchestrating the bombing of a U.S. Navy destroyer off Yemen nearly 23 years ago.
네, 여기서 그룹은 바로 UN 인권위원회 아래에 있는 이미 구금을 다루는 그런 실무단을 말하고 있습니다. 자, 그런 그룹이 무슨 얘기를 했냐면 아까 미국 비판했다 했는데요. 미국뿐만 아니라 UAE도 비판했습니다. This group has also named responsible the UAE.
Right, so that means they are saying that the UAE is also responsible. They also played a role in this.
그렇죠. You could also say the group has named the UAE as responsible too. You know, you can maybe switch around.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Yeah.
weird construction, to be honest with you, a bit clunky.
네, 그래서 이 문장 구조가 좀 어려울 수 있어요. 흔히 보는 구조는 아닌데 The group has named as responsible the UAE라는 게 UN의 이 실무단이 UAE 역시 책임이 있다라고 말을 했다는 겁니다. 이 사우디 아라비아 수감자에 대한 얘긴데요. This person from Saudi Arabia was prisoned and captured in 2002. And this is all part of an interrogation program.
Right, so when you interrogate somebody, it's aggressive questioning to try and get information. Usually a suspect or a prisoner is interrogated. And it's kind of a well-known thing that the interrogation practices used by the Bush administration after September 11th were quite extreme.
Yeah.
If you have Zero Dark 30 is a movie that shows quite a bit of that. Waterboarding was a big thing that they employed.
And that means torturing with
Well,
water and putting...
No, it's when you lie someone down and put a towel over their face and then pour water on it so you feel like you're drowning.
Sure. So it's a type of torture.
A type of torture, right, to try and get people to talk. That's what when you interrogate someone,
Yeah.
you're trying to get them to talk.
그렇죠.
Trying to get them to sing like a bird.
네, 자백을 하게끔 내지는 뭔가 이제 말을 하게끔 하는 그런 신문을 interrogation이라고 합니다. 그래서 2002년에 이런 interrogation 프로그램의 일환으로 수감이 됐었고, this person is accused of orchestrating a bombing of a U.S. Navy destroyer off Yemen.
Right, this happened just a few months before 9/11, actually, and it's not as if nothing happened in this incident. 17 U.S. sailors were killed. 40 people were injured. So this was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
There was a number of there was bombings at U.S. embassies in Africa leading up to 9/11. So these were sort of the things that the precursors to the 9/11 attacks.
And the UN is still saying this person should be released.
I guess they're saying that he's been held for 23 years,
yeah.
right? He's still awaiting trial. He's been accused of orchestrating the bombing. So as we talked about, that's our DIY today. This means he planned this, he organized it all. Obviously, this would have been done covertly. This would have been done in secret because it was highly, highly illegal to do this. But he planned all this and pulled it off. And it was a terrorist attack that killed 17 people.
실제 이제 테러 행위를 하긴 했습니다. 23년 전이네요. 그러니까 9.11이 있기 직전이라고 좀 설명을 해주셨는데 예멘 근처에 있었던 US Navy Destroyer 구축함을 폭발을 해가지고 17명의 미군이 사망했다고 합니다. 그러나 이제 벌써 23년이라는 시간이 지났으니까 관타나모 수용소에서 수감된 지가 그리고 아직까지도 이 사형 선고를 받을 수 있는 재판을 기다리고 있는 상황입니다. 그 사이에 또 이제 여러 가지 interrogation and torturing 이런 것들을 당했다라고 해서 유엔에서는 즉각적인 석방 그리고 보상을 요구하고 있다고 합니다. This person was accused of orchestrating이라고 할 때 우리 morning DIY 표현이 들어가 있어서요. 여러분의 문장 한번 보도록 하겠습니다. 이러한 것들을 계획했대요. 자, 여러분은 뭘 계획하셨나요? 양권열님, we need to orchestrate the era after the 3-year pandemic. Orchestrate the era. Can you orchestrate an era?
Not really, I don't think. It's usually it's orchestrating some plan, something. So
I think this person's just trying to say we need to plan ahead.
Yeah, right. We need to carefully plan the era after. I wouldn't really use it this way.
이게 orchestrate는 정말 구체적인 그 세부 사항까지 하나하나 다 계획을 짜서 실행에 옮기는 거기 때문에 우리가 한 시대를 그런 식으로 다 계획을 짜가지고 착착착 움직이게 하기는 쉽지 않죠. 그래서 여기선 좀 어울리지 않는 것 같지만
It's a very good try, though.
네, 아주 좋은 도전이었고 그 다음에 아마 이제 앞으로의 삶을 잘 계획해야 된다. 이런 의미로 쓰신 것 같아요. 자, 유튜브로 호기심 천국님이요. The project manager failed to orchestrate the collaboration between various teams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that works.
그렇죠. 네.
Right.
프로젝트 매니저면 뭐 팀장 정도가 되겠죠. 우리식으로 한다면은. 그래서 이 팀끼리 콜라보레이션을 해야 되는데 이거 계획을 좀 잘 하지 못했다라는 의미로 쓰신 것 같습니다. Alright. Well, let's listen to this first world news overview one more time.
UN body condemns torture of Guantanamo prisoner awaiting capital trial. A United Nations Human Rights Panel has issued a damning report that blames the United States and 7 other nations for the CIA's torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment of a Saudi prisoner who now awaits a death penalty trial at Guantanamo Bay. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention also named as responsible the United Arab Emirates, where the prisoner, Abd al-Rahman al-Nashri, was captured in 2002, as well as countries where he was held as part of an interrogation program run by the George W. Bush administration. The group called for the immediate release of and compensation for al-Nashri, who is accused of orchestrating the bombing of a U.S. Navy destroyer off Yemen nearly 23 years ago.
이렇게 해서 오늘 첫 번째 World News Overview 봤습니다. 자, 다음으로 역시 뉴욕타임스 기사 볼 텐데요. 지난주 폴란드 수도 워소, 우리는 바르샤바라고 하죠. 거기에서 민주화 이후 최대 규모의 반정부 시위가 있었습니다. Let's have a listen.
In Poland, crowds protest ruling Conservative Party. Hundreds of thousands of people marched through Warsaw on Sunday in opposition to the governing party before an October general election, summoning memories of Poland's rejection of Communist Party rule decades before. The event, organized by the government's political rivals, sought to deprive Poland's deeply conservative Law and Justice Party of its claims to the legacy of solidarity, the trade union movement that led the struggle against a communist system imposed by Russia after World War II.
자, 바르샤바에서 있었던 시위 얘긴데요. 영어로는 WARSAW, Warsaw라고 합니다. There was a march. People marched through Warsaw.
So that means they kind of had a protest.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if they were actually marching like soldiers, but it's a phrase that's used when you protest.
Yeah.
Everyone walks together.
Although a march itself doesn't mean a protest, but
Right.
in this case it does.
It does, yes, that's right.
원래는 행진이라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 영국에서는 사실 이제 뭐 소ldier들이 marching 하는 경우 종종 볼 수 있어요. 특히 로열 패밀리와 관련된 무언가 행사가 있을 때 march, 행진하고 그렇습니다. 근데 이 행진이라는 게 여기서는 시위를 했다라는 뜻으로 쓴 거고 through Warsaw니까요. 바르샤바를 관통하며 바르샤바 시내에서 시위를 벌였다.
And Warsaw is, of course, just the capital city, yes.
Of course, yeah. 자, 그 다음에는 summoning memories of something.
This was a strange usage of the word for me. Did you find this kind of a strange?
Bringing back memories, I guess.
like, because usually, like, to me, like, I understood it as summoning memories, bringing to mind,
yeah.
bringing something up. Usually, though, you use summoning to talk about ordering someone to go somewhere. So, you know, when I was a kid, if I got summoned to the principal's office, I was pretty scared, right?
Did that happen?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. You know, you were called there. Did you ever, what do they call it? The headmaster?
Yeah,
in England,
yeah.
Did you ever get summoned to the headmaster's office?
I think so, but it was for something good.
Oh, really? Okay, I wanted to give you an award or something like that for
Yeah.
your cello playing,
Yeah,
probably.
how did you know?
I don't know, I just took a guess.
Yes, that was
I just-
exactly what it was.
Was it? Okay,
Yes.
wow. See, I just know you too well, I guess.
Wow. Yeah.
The other usage is like someone will talk about summoning the courage to do something, right? You bring that up. You find the courage to do something. So a lot of times we would use it like a date, right? To ask someone on a date, someone that you liked, you finally summon the courage. Or maybe you summon the courage to ask for a raise at work. Something you wanted to do, but you were a bit afraid to do it.
용기를 내서 뭔가 할 때 summon the courage to do something. 라고 할 수 있고요. 기억을 소환할 때 summon memory라고 할 수도 있고 교장실로 불려갔을 때 I was summoned to the headmaster's office라고 할 수도 있습니다. 이게 다 어딘가로 소환이 되다, 뭐 불리다, 어디로 이제 뭐 소집하게 됐다 이런 느낌인데요. Summoning memories라는 표현이 나오니까 기억을 상기시켰다, 기억 소환이 되겠습니다. 자, 그 다음에는 a trade union movement that led the struggle against a communist system.
They led the fight, leading the charge.
So, trade union movement. And when we talk about unions, of course, we're thinking of the groups of people, workers' union, for example.
Right, that groups, organizations that represent workers against the business.
Yeah.
Try to negotiate better terms for them.
그렇죠. 노동조합이 되겠는데요. 그런 이제 조합 운동을 하던 분들이 there was a struggle against the communist system. 이 공산주의에 대항하는 어떤 투쟁을 벌였다라는 의미로 보면 되겠습니다. And this system was imposed by Russia after the war. And so this, the recent riot or the recent protests, I should say, the march, it made people think about what happened way back when.
Yes, exactly. It brought those memories back.
네. 그러니까 이번에 있었던 시위는 물론 과거에 있었던 시위와 다르긴 하지만 그때의 기억을 소환시켰다. 다음 단락 가볼게요.
Law and Justice recently pushed legislation through Parliament to establish a commission to investigate Russian influence and bar individuals from public office for up to 10 years if they were found to have succumbed to it.
네. 여기서 Law and Justice라고 했는데 that's a party.
The
I
name
understand.
of the governing
Yeah.
party, the ruling
그렇죠.
party.
네, 집권당인 법과 정의당인데요. 이 당이 이제 러시아 영향 공직자 퇴출 법안 입법을 강행했다라는 얘기가 나옵니다. They recently pushed legislation through parliament.
So when I hear this, I think that they kind of forced it through this new law. They probably were strong-arming people, or they had enough seats to be able to do it, but they got it through really, really fast. This mattered a lot to them.
그렇죠.
And there might have been obviously opposition really, really didn't like it. That's the feeling, but they made it happen.
네, 그래서 강행했다라는 느낌, 뭐 밀어붙였다. They pushed legislation. 법안 입법을 이제 강행했다라는 거고요. This was to investigate Russian influence and also to bar individuals from public office for up to 10 years.
Right, so if you bar, the other word is to ban someone. If you're barred or banned, then that would mean these people would not be allowed to not be allowed to be in the government for up to
그쵸.
10 years.
네, 이게 러시아의 영향을 받은 공직자들을 퇴출하자는 움직임이기 때문에 bar 아니면 ban individuals from public office 공직자를 여기서 individuals from public office라고 했어요. 그러니까 공직자가 되는 것을 10년 동안 막자라는 내용이 되겠습니다. 만약에 러시아에 굴복한 사실이 밝혀진다면 if they were found to have succumbed to this Russian influence.
So this would mean they gave in, they accepted it, they were influenced. Usually you'll see succumbed when you're talking about an illness. Somebody
Yeah.
had an illness and then they succumbed to it, meaning they died from it.
Exactly. All right, well, let's listen to this story one more time.
In Poland, crowds protest ruling Conservative Party. Hundreds of thousands of people marched through Warsaw on Sunday in opposition to the governing party before an October general election, summoning memories of Poland's rejection of Communist Party rule decades before. The event, organized by the government's political rivals, sought to deprive Poland's deeply conservative Law and Justice Party of its claims to the legacy of solidarity, the trade union movement that led the struggle against a communist system imposed by Russia after World War II. Law and Justice recently pushed legislation through Parliament to establish a commission to investigate Russian influence and bar individuals from public office for up to 10 years if they were found to have succumbed to it.
네, 이렇게 해서 두 번째 뉴욕타임스 기사까지 봤고요. 모닝 DIY 더 보겠습니다. Orchestrate였습니다. You're enjoying yours right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I was craving a cup of
Were
coffee
you?
actually. Yeah, so perfect timing.
Perfect
감사합니다.
timing. 네, 감사합니다. 자, 리즈 황의 커피 지금 들으셨고요. 자, 이번에는 우리가 이제 잘못해서 환자들에게 캔서가 있다라고 알린 그런 컴퍼니가 있다고 해요. 뭐 어떻게 된 일인지 좀 들어보겠습니다.
Hundreds were mistakenly told they might have cancer, test company says. A company that developed a blood test that detects dozens of types of cancer has acknowledged that about 400 of its customers were mistakenly told last month that they might have the disease.
아이고야. 그러니까 혈액 검사로 여러 가지 암 발병을 발견할 수 있다라고 하는 이제 한 업체가 미국의 업체가요. 400명 정도에게 암 걸리실 수도 있을 것 같다. 라는 얘기를 했는데 이게 잘못된 거였대요. 얼마나 놀랬겠어요. So they said they had detected or they can detect dozens of types of cancer, right?
Right, this test that this company has, this company called Grail. Detect means find, right? That's what a detective does.
Detective, 네,
You're
탐정,
right.
그렇죠.
They're out looking for clues. Dozens is maybe the interesting word here. So a dozen is 12. So dozens means multiples of 12. So at 20, 24, maybe even up to 36.
영어에선 정말 흔히 쓰는 단위예요. 12이라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 dozens of types of cancer. 우리말로 바꾸면 그냥 뭐 수십 가지라고 하면 되기는 되겠는데 어쨌든 dozen 자체는 12입니다. 이게 같은 말인지 모르겠어요. 우리 가끔 보면은 뭐 한 다스 이렇게 말하는 게 이 단어에서 온 게 아닐까 그냥 추측을 해봅니다. 제가. 근데 잘 모르겠네요. 영어에서는 a dozen, two dozen. 그다음에 보면은 또 영어에서 많이 쓰는 우리나라에서는 잘 쓰지 않는 숫자 단위 중에 fortnight라는 게 있어요. And that's 14 days, 2 weeks. 그래서 these are things we don't have in Korean. You know, we don't say dozens. We'll just say many tens, 수십 가지. Or instead of saying a fortnight, we'll just say a couple of weeks in Korean.
Right, but Korean has interesting words for like 2 days later, 2 days before, like just a word,
Yeah,
whereas in
yeah.
English we have to explain it. In 2
그러네요.
days or in, 2 days ago.
Or 3 days ago.
Right.
그러네요. 우리는 이제 뭐 이틀 전, 사흘 전, 나흘 전 이런 표현이 있는데 영어에는 뭐 특별한 단어가 있는 건 아니고 그냥 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I don't know if that's a special word in Korean, but yeah, we do have expressions nonetheless. 자, 다시 detect로 돌아갈게요. 뭔가를 이제 찾아내는 거죠. 발견하는 거. detective는 탐정이 되겠고. This company detects dozens of types of cancer. 여러 가지 암을 찾아낼 수 있는 그런 디바이스를 가지고 있습니다. 자, 그런데 about 400 people were mistakenly told they might have cancer.
They were told in error.
They were told in error,
we did error
yes.
in error last week.
Yes.
So I think that's a good phrase. In error is a good phrase. I started using that in some of my classes actually to teach people like that was sent in error,
In error, yeah.
right? In this
실수로.
case, they were mistakenly told. It was a mistake. They shouldn't have been told that.
지난주에 우리가 이제 그 오발송 얘기하면서 text messages was sent in error라는 표현을 썼었는데요. Something in error. 여기서는 400 people were told in error. 잘못 알려진 겁니다. 뭐라고 얘기를 했느냐? 암 걸렸을지도 모르겠다. 이런 얘기를 한 거예요. My goodness. 다음 단락 보겠습니다.
The company Grail said in an emailed statement Sunday that a vendor it works with had sent hundreds of letters with incorrect test results because of a software configuration issue that has since been resolved. The letters went to customers who had recently purchased Grail's Gallery test, which uses a blood draw to detect a cancer signal shared by 50 types of cancer and is available only by prescription.
This is what happens when you rely on technology too much, maybe, and softwares, they can sometimes malfunction or something could go wrong.
Right.
약간의 technical glitch가 있었던 것 같아요. 기술적인 결함이었던 것 같은데 소프트웨어 문제로 인해서 수백 명이 암에 걸리지 않았는데 암에 걸렸을지도 모르겠다라는 그런 그 통보를 받은 거죠. 이 회사에서 이 디바이스를 써가지고 여러 가지 혈액을 채취하고 검사를 받았는데 이 회사 이름은 Grail입니다. It says here that the issue has since been resolved.
Right, so it wasn't Grail who sent these emails. It was a company that they were a telehealth company that they were working with. This telehealth company would be using their tests, right?
So the software issue happened with the company that was sending out.
Sending this telehealth company,
Okay.
telehealth vendor.
telehealth.
I didn't write the name down, but I looked it up yesterday.
Okay.
It was in a different article. So they've resolved this issue. If you resolve a problem, you solve it, you fix it, you find a solution.
Got it. It has since been resolved라는 것은요. 그때 이후 이 문제가 해결이 됐다라는 겁니다. Grail에서 이 혈액 검사한 자체에 문제가 있지는 않았다고 합니다. 그러나 이거를 분석해서 그 다음에 각각의 고객들에게 이 결과를 알려주는 또 다른 업체가 있었는데 그 업체에서 쓰는 소프트웨어에 문제가 생겨 결국은 이렇게 암에 걸렸을지도 모른다라는 게 전달이 된 거고 그 문제가 그러나 이제 그 이후에 소프트웨어 상의 이제